In your manifesto, you've spoken about GST 2.0, a single rate, moderate tax rate with certain exceptions. Now,
and without having to issue 2,000, 3,000 amendments from time to time,
right.
And having a time-bound, credible, impartial dispute settlement mechanism. Disputes are inevitable in a system like ours, but those have to be resolved quickly, and we have to move on. It's a good and simple tax. It's a good, GST is good and simple tax. It has to be good, it has to be simple.
So when you're speaking about a single rate, right now the highest rate is about 28%.
We're talking of compressing the number of rates.
Okay.
We're recognizing, we have to recognize you can't have a single rate like we have in other countries, in many other countries of the world. You will have one or two exceptions, one or two stated exceptions from the beginning, but by and large we have to reduce the number of rates, maybe one or max. You're going to have one rate, and then you must have one rate for what are considered to be goods that are consumed by the better off sections of society, and one rate which is lower than the revenue neutral rate for mass consumption goods. So we're talking of considerable simplification. And the fact that we introduced the GST, I don't think the Congress Party was ever, in fact the first reference to a GST was in the budget speech of 2005 of Mr. Jairam when he was the finance minister. And ever since then there's been a forward movement on the GST. In fact, when the GST bill was prepared in 2011, when Mr. Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister, it went to the Standing Committee on Finance, which was chaired by a BJP member, and they didn't submit their report for almost 2 years and 3 months, by which time it became too late to implement the GST. Otherwise, the GST would have been implemented in 2013.
Right. Now you've given us a sense as to what those two rates should be. One should be for premium, but these are any percentages?
I don't think, in an interview like this, I neither have the authority nor I'm in a position to tell you definitively what is going to be done. But I can tell you what we have stated in our manifesto. I can tell you what our thinking is as reflected in our manifesto. And that is GST 2.0. Not tinkering on the margin, but fundamental changes in the way the GST is structured, the way GST is implemented. It has to be simpler, it has to be less cumbersome, particularly for the MSME sectors, which are feeling the brunt of not just demonetization and also cheap imports from China, but also a poorly designed GST. Right. So it has to be less cumbersome.
All right, hold that thought.